Now we are going to discuss one of the phylum, that is Hemichordata. Previously it was under chordates because there is a structure called stomochord and that stomochord, which is very close, structurally very similar to the notochord, and it was thought that it is notochord, but later on it has found that it is actually a outgrowth of the digestive part. So when it is known that it is the outgrowth of the digestive part, so it has been, this phylum has been shifted from the chordates to just before the chordates. So they are called protochordates or half chordates, and just before the chordate, this is the phylum which is called Hemichordata. Clear? So let us learn the characteristic feature of this phylum. Now you see that a very common example of Hemichordata is Balanoglossus. Clear? This is Balanoglossus. There are Saccoglossus. Balanoglossus is called tongue worm. So we can easily say that hemichordates are very worm-like organism. Clear? And they are exclusively marine. And they are burrow animals. Clear? They are exclusively marine. They live in burrows which are U-shaped burrows, and bilateral symmetry body, you can easily understand. Now, and organ system level of organization. Now the body is divided into three parts. This is one of the upper part. This portion is called proboscis. Then a slightly swollen part called collar, and then this part is called trunk. So proboscis, collar and trunk, these are the three parts in the body. Now if we go on for the body wall and coelom, they consist of single layer of epidermis and mostly longitudinal muscles, and true coelom is present. So single layer of epidermis with mostly longitudinal muscle, and there is true coelom. Now digestive tract is complete, that means it starts from mouth and ends at anus. Proboscis contains hollow. This proboscis, they contains the hollow outgrowth, clear, of the digestive tract of this buccal cavity, and this is called buccal diverticulum or stomochord. So here we find that it contains the hollow outgrowth which is called buccal diverticulum or stomochord. Now so this region contains an outgrowth. Clear? This collar or proboscis region contains a hollow outgrowth of the buccal cavity, which actually was confused with the notochord, and this is called stomochord. And since it is an outgrowth from the buccal cavity, it is also called buccal diverticulum also. Clear? Which was regarded as notochord in the past. Respiration, there are several gill slits. Now if we go on for the trunk, you will find there are three regions. This is the brachiogenital region, this is the hepatic region, and finally this is the abdominal region. Clear? So brachiogenital region contains the respiratory part as well as the genital organs. Hepatic region is the glandular region which secretes, and last is the abdominal region. Now respiration is by several gill slits and or through the body, general body surface, either by several gill slits or through the general body surface. And circulation, it contains dorsal heart, and there are lateral. Blood is colorless without corpuscles. excretory system contains glomerulus which is present in the proboscis. Clear? The excretory system glomerulus which are present in the proboscis. So proboscis contains the excretory organ glomerulus. The stomochord or this buccal diverticulum is there in the collar to this region. Sense organs, epidermis only acts as sense organs, and they are separate sexes, they are unisexual. Clear? They have separate sexes, and gonads are one or two pairs. Fertilization is always external, and say they have indirect development with certain larval stage like tornadial larva. So these are the general characters of the hemichordata. And now if we go on for the significance of hemichordata, they are considered as a connecting link between echinodermata and the chordata. So invertebrates and vertebrates, they are connecting between invertebrates and vertebrates. And unique feature, if we go on for this is body divided into proboscis, collar and trunk. That is a unique feature. The buccal presence of the buccal diverticulum or stomopod in this collar proboscis region. This is another important structure. Glomerulus in the proboscis part, that is an important unique feature. Tornadial larva. So these are all unique feature, absolutely exclusively marine and burrowing animals. So these are all the unique features of this group or phylum. So now we will be discussing chordates. So already we have completed hemichordates, and now we will be discussing chordates. And you know that chordates basically they have notochord, and that is why they are called chordates. They may be, this notochord may be converted to vertebral column, or they may remain as notochord, but notochord should be there. And what else characters do they have, we will discuss now. Now, so first of all, notochord. Presence of notochord is one of the most important feature of the chordates. You can see here. So this presence of this notochord in the dorsal surface, that is the dorsal surface of the body, clear, on the dorsal part of the body rather, is so it is present mid-dorsal, in the dorsal part, in the middle part, between the central nervous system and alimentary canal. So here you can see this is the central nervous system, the nerve cord, and there is the alimentary canal. So in between these two there is the rod-like structures, solid flexible rod-like structures called notochord. Now it persists throughout the life in lower chordates, but in higher chordates they get replaced by the jointed vertebral column, which have small bones jointed, called vertebrae. They are jointed to form the vertebral column, which we find in the higher chordates. Next is the dorsal hollow central nervous system. Clear? So they have a dorsal hollow central nervous system, and always lies dorsal to notochord. The cavity of the central nervous system, you can see, you can think of the our spinal cord. So there is a cavity called neurocell. So that central nervous system, they have a cavity, dorsal hollow. So this cavity is called neurocell. They have pharyngeal gill slits. Clear? So they have the pharynx. We know that after the mouth we have pharynx, and that pharynx contains gill slits. So paired of gill slits are present in the pharynx region and on the lateral sides of the pharynx, and they are retained throughout the life in lower forms, but in adult form often they don't lost. These pharyngeal gill slits are often lost. Now tail, post-anal tail, that means after the anus they may have a tail, or sometimes this tail is totally reduced. Clear? Totally reduced or absent. So they may have a tail after the anus, that means post-anal tail, or this tail may be absent or reduced. Now, if we go on how they are different, how these chordates are different from the non-chordates, till now what we have learned, all those are the non-chordates, but how they are different from these chordates are different from the non-chordates. First of all, they have this notochord, you can see here. They have this notochord which is absent in the non-chordates. The central nervous system is dorsal, you can see here, and that is hollow and single. But if you can recall the nervous system in non-chordates, you can see here they are always two, not single longitudinal nerve cord, and but here it is single, and that also here it is hollow, but there in non-chordate it is solid, and two are there, and here we can see it is present in the dorsal side of the body, but in non-chordates it is present in the ventral side of the body. Now, pharynx here contains perforated by gill slits, but in non-chordate gill slits are absent. Heart here is ventral. Clear, we can see, you can think of your own heart. We are all chordates, so our heart is on the ventral side. So in all chordates, the heart is on the ventral side, but in cockroach, you can recall, the heart is on the dorsal side. So in non-chordates, the heart is on the dorsal side. Post-anal tail is present here, and post-anal tail is absent in the non-chordates. So here is the picture of the chordates. You can see this notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits. Clear? So all these are the notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, pharyngeal gill slits. All these are present in the chordates. Now, if you see, we will find that these chordates are divided into urochordates and cephalochordates. These are the lower groups of chordates, which are also called protochordates. Clear, who don't have a proper cranium. Clear, and notochord may not persist throughout the life. And the most evolved group of these chordates is the vertebrates. So we will learn now these urochordates and cephalocordate, which are the primitive or protochordates. They are also called protochordates. So you can see here one of the protochordates, that is urochordata, or this is also called tunicata. The example is Hardmeria. Clear? Now what are the features of these urochordates? First of all, the notochord occurs only in the tail region. Uro means tail. Clear? So notochord is present only in the tail region of the larva, not in adult also. So notochord is found only in the tail region of the larva. You can see this is the ascidial larva. Clear? Where there is foot. This is the foot region. So foot region, this is the tunic, and this is the atrial cavity. So notochord is present only in the tail region of the larva, and it is replaced by dorsal ganglion. In adult, it is replaced by dorsal ganglion. Gill slits are persist in the adults and opens in the cavity called atrium cavity. You can see here, these are the atrial cavity. Gill slits are present in the adult and they open in the cavity. This is called atrial cavity. Instead, clear, which is a cavity called atrium cavity instead of exterior. The tail may or may not be present, and the adult body is usually enclosed within a leathery paste which is called tunic, and that is why leathery, it is made up of cellulose, organic compound, which is cellulose like organic compound called tunicin, and that is why they are also called tunicata. Clear? Tunicata. Now another interesting thing is that larvae show retrogressive metamorphosis. That means the larva is more well developed, and when it grows to adult, there is much more simplification rather than complication. Now for cephalochordata, the notochord extends from anterior end of the body and clear extends to anterior part of the body and persists throughout the life, not only a part but throughout the life. And the nerve cord also persists throughout the life, but brain is not such formed. And pharyngeal glissils are more numerous and open into an atrium, and tail is present throughout the life. So these are the cephalostructures present in the cephalochordata. So first of all, notochord is present, and it is not restricted only in the tail region. It extends to the anterior part of the body, and it is not only in the larval stage. It is present throughout the life. And nerve cord is also there, and that also present throughout the life. And pharyngeal gill slits are more than that of the urochordata, and open into an atrium, and tail is present throughout the life. So these are the features of the cephalochordata.